Hello, viewers. I'm SB.
And I'm Amabel.
Okay, we have guitar things now. We should work on some, pyro for your entrance. By God, that's Amabel Holland's music. And welcome back to Forex School, where we do the pyro indoors, because it's environmentally respectful. We are in this situation, right? We got this thing going on. We're going to watch these two fight it out for the moment. We really shouldn't declare war again just yet. But we're definitely going to keep an eye on this. Now, one thing I do want to note here is that while Black's armies are trespassing inside our territory, they will take damage every turn. And some of these units are low enough health. Like that arquebusier is going to die. So there are going to be some further consequences from this attack. The units that are still in the water will be able to sail out in time. But these units will have to spend one turn moving adjacent to the water, then another turn moving into the water, and then another turn moving out of our territory. And I think it's possible... It looks like all the Cahokia Raiders are going to survive, but they'll lose a couple of people from that, and that's fun. That's just a fun little bit of spite for me. Anyway, we've done this turn. Let's move on here.
Was previously available to a small, often wealthy elite. Now, knowledge and propaganda can be distributed to the masses.
Hooray, we know about movable typeface. Which is, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Mass dissemination. But will it be of information or of propaganda?
Well, propaganda's a type of information, right?
Yeah.
Alright, Mama Aklo has declared that Cusco should be demilitarized. Okay. So this is that thing that leverage.
Yeah,
She's trying to get us to move our units out of the region, which we will do. Actually, what she probably wanted was for me to keep my units in the region and generate leverage every turn. But I will not. I will not allow her to have the free stuff. So anyway, sorry, go ahead.
No, I wasn't. I'm just watching.
Okay. There's not much for our units to do here. We have this sort of these partial armies that probably ought to just get combined up. We'll just tuck these two in there, and then... I don't know exactly what to make of you two. You two go and hang out in this tile for a bit. So these two armies are considerably weakened for a little while, but not, I think, in a way that's probably hugely important. You can see I did the same thing over here with this city where I built one district down onto the low ground for the purpose of securing movement. Because there's a lot of, bluffs around here. We have an urgent affair. The invention of movable typeface is a great breakthrough, but has the potential to cause massive disruption to existing powers. Via the printing press, ideas, both profound and dangerous, can now be easily disseminated. Artists are in the vanguard of this revolution, so I think we might have seen this one in the previous game. We have enough influence to make a call here. And I think we want to keep our order axis all the way tucked toward liberty. So I think we want to make this choice here.
If art is to speak and show the truth, you can't gag and bind it.
What is this conquered empire's choice? Hold on a second.
Now without negotiation beforehand, anyway.
Okay, good. Very well done. All right, we don't need to make a call on that. Let's get you up into a place where you can provide us with a little bit more useful naval vision. We got our new army that we're going to run over here into a more defensive position. Yeah, you can see their forces are fleeing in tatters. It's a shame we can't really do anything else about that. I think you're just going to hang out on this river and road crossroads tile here. This is a place where that army can respond to pretty much anything that happens on that continent pretty quickly. All right, y'all park right here, and I think that should be all we need for a little bit. So look at this. We put so much population into that army. The Mycenae went all the way down to 4 four people. But hold on a second. Sorry, I just got a new phone, and there are situations under which it has not learned yet that it's supposed to be completely silent at all times. Okay, anyway. What was I saying, Amabel?
There's only 4 pop in that city.
Right. So we're gonna see the population grow back very, very quickly. Like it'll be a birth every single turn until it gets back up to a reasonable level, which is one of the reasons that dropping a ton of population into an army is not totally destructive, but it does mean like the city is definitely less functional for a pretty significant period, right? There's a lot of science per turn that we are missing.
Yeah.
Without
Well, that's how population growth works. If you have a small amount, it's gonna just usually get new population every turn.
Do you have something you'd like to say, Amabel? Do you have some cutting words that you would like to distribute here? There's a lot of
these games are
stealthy-
silly. I do
Yeah,
appreciate the
that's
way
true.
in which this game more than others seems to know that it's silly.
Yes, greetings. I hope you don't mind if I stay.
Do we want to add additional demands? I mean, she doesn't.
Yeah.
She still doesn't have anything that she can demand from us. I am going to continue demanding things.
My wolves at bay.
Yeah, my wolves or
The
whatever.
rock bottom of my contempt and hatred.
We continue to to gain war support. So yeah, like from a raw game perspective, game mechanics perspective, right? It's the idea that like the pile of food here is being distributed among fewer people, and so there's more left over for growth. But the idea that like, you know, if you have more apples, that means more people, obviously, is fundamentally very silly.
Yeah.
I'm gonna buy our way into a little bit more of a push on this.
Now, if it's asparagus, if there's more asparagus, I mean, I get it.
What on earth does that mean?
Asparagus is an aphrodisiac. So that's. Let me tell you how babies are made. I don't know if you know.
Amabel, asparagus is not I don't think that's right. The problem isn't that I've not heard of an aphrodisiac. The problem is that the thing asparagus is known for is making you smelly, not horny. And like I don't know how much there is to that, but I know that that's the cultural perception. I've never heard of asparagus as an aphrodisiac. That's bizarre.
So yeah. So it can change in some people.
Hey, Amabel, why don't we not talk about this?
Your
Well,
people
What
see
if we talked about humankind just like a little bit this
civil
episode?
power. Only your friends know of
Sovereign.
You refuse to do an osmosis for me. Well, you know what? I'm going to be very kind to you and renounce that.
No grudge.
We're good.
Flim and flam.
Excuse me? Oh, she's got that traitor badge. She went to war with Brown. Oh dear.
I think only of my people. Remember that.
So it's interesting that we don't have a grievance about the declaring war on my ally. Because now that we're technically...
Did Green declare war or did Brown declare war on Green?
Green has the traitor badge.
Okay.
Brown's a pacifist, if anything. Well, now that we have kind of a sizable military and it's not super likely that we're going to need it to fight Black's troops in the next, 10 turns or whatever. I'm wondering if we should maybe make some noise around green here, because I think their plan is they're gonna try to push into brown's territory while brown is distracted,
Yeah.
and I don't care for that idea.
We can take green.
Also, what's going on here? We're at 51% share with these people. They've just been hanging out and, you know, paying us money in science every turn for an extremely long time. Yes, I can absolutely take green. It would be no problem at all to take green. We're at our city cap right now. We have crazy war support against green too, because they keep pissing me off. They keep doing things.
I mean, you got those armies. Might as well use them.
That's what I just. Yeah. Okay.
I mean,
that's what I just said. So hold on. Let's see what they're rocking. They got great swords. They got pikes. So 32 combat strength, 36 combat strength. Against this stuff, obviously they're gonna get run the fuck over. Why is there just like a loose knight in the middle of the? To be perfectly honest with you, I'm not sure we need to bring stuff over. I think we could probably just roll Chang'an with this force.
all right.
But if we wanted to make sure, like, how fast... It probably doesn't cost much time at all to run our new army over and just knock them down. And I really don't want them weakening Brown's position is my biggest concern here.
Yeah.
So it would take like 7 turns to get an army over onto the other continent, unfortunately. Also, I built my harbor off of a mountain here for some reason, so we can't actually use it to harbor. Because I'm very smart.
Yeah, but you have army on that continent, though. I mean, just
Yeah, I'm debating.
you know,
I'm debating.
do it.
The thing is, I don't want to start a war and have it go badly, because that's how you like lose your economy, right?
It won't.
It won't.
The war will be fast and cheap, and no one on our side will be hurt. Isn't that how all wars start?
I believe it is the case that many wars start with somebody believing that. Oh, look at this! They do have access to arquebusier tech. It's not fully clear to me how, given their position, but somehow they do actually have access. So this wouldn't be a roll. Like they will update their units if we push them. So that being the case, I would be much more comfortable with there being a second force. This horse army is undermined for only 2 more turns, and we're closer to the harbor. It's still a remarkably large number of turns to get over here. But I think I'm going to do it. I think I'm going to commit this army to the attack.
All right.
I'm a little worried about... I would much rather it be the army with all the foot soldiers. It's just that, as you might imagine, the army with all the foot soldiers is slower on the move. But for attacking a city that's fortified like this, I really don't want it to just be like a bunch of horses, right?
Yeah.
For what I hope are obvious reasons. All right, let's start getting this army moving over. Amabel, you are a bloodthirsty monster. Yeah, we'll start by moving to here.
Here's the thing
Yeah.
with these games is that, like, okay, we have this plan. We're gonna do this thing, and then we have to wait 7 turns, like an hour, to do the thing. And I'm not a patient woman.
No, you certainly are not. Queen Tamiris spent a bunch of leverage to reveal my spies, not knowing that I am too culturally uncouth to have ever built a spy, or indeed the embassy that would train them. Just never really came around.
Greet you, as always.
All right, so at this point, see, this is the thing I don't understand about the AI. When they're like getting sick of your alliance, they start breaking down the individual benefits of the alliance in a way that hurts them as much as it hurts you, and they're behind. They need all this stuff. Like, why do this? This is suicide.
I mean, sweetheart,
Yeah.
we are. I mean, I don't know why an AI would do that, but like, we certainly have evidence for why political leaders do that, why countries do that. So, I don't know. I feel like maybe the AI is trying to simulate how people are stupid.
Yeah, maybe. I'm sorry, what's going on over here? Oh, brown spies and black spies are fighting in my territory.
Speak and
Apparently I'm not involved in that. Well, fair enough. All right, 4 turns until we've constructed our new super harbor. I guess I'm just gonna have this pentaconter. Maybe we'll sail down here. I haven't ever gotten real full vision from those tiles. Okay, and we are speeding toward an aesthetic star in like 5 turns or so. We're missing a lot of military units for the next militarist star, but it's not so many. It's like 12, and that feels like a lot. But honestly, a single good battle, we could get 12 kills in.
Yeah.
Deep in the darkest recesses of one of HUMANKIND's oldest research archives, an aged archaeologist made a stunning find. Trawling through old dusty cases likely untouched for centuries, they came across a veritable treasure from the Empire's past, an ancient Andean artifact called a quipu. The quipu is a collection of knotted strings thought to encode information, yet nobody knows what secrets it holds, nor how the object came into the city's possession. Naturally, the local scientific community is abuzz at the discovery, and implore you to help unravel its mysteries. What is your say? Well, no time should be lost to this wild good chase. That's gotta be goose chase. We'll sell this precious artifact to the highest bidder for 10 gold. Or scientists of HUMANKIND may focus their efforts on discovering its secrets, but no others. Just only our people can look at it. Which is distracting, I guess. Pretty distracting. Or we can ask researchers from across the Empire to train their eyes on this artifact. Why would we not do that? Everybody, come and figure this stuff out. Yeah, it costs money, but like, it's way better to pay 30 gold per turn than to pay 25 industry per turn. And I think that's true even if you are a gold-focused empire. Because the conversion rate on those resources is not 1-to-1, right? Like when you buy out a building, you're paying a lot more money than you would pay in gears.
Yeah.
Seems very strange.
I guess if you're really cash strapped, you know.
You'd have to be really cash strapped though.
Yeah.
Bizarre. Okay. Anyway.
I mean, it feels like it's so hard to get the math right on all this stuff. The more content,
It's gotta be. It's gotta be, right? So I'm gonna put some military units in the queue here. We have this city kind of bouncing up and down over its population, like its theoretical maximum population threshold, because it keeps dipping below its consumption value, and then having a birth, and then they don't make enough food, and then, you know, somebody starves, and we can at least be turning that extra population into something of value. Are you okay? Do you need a second?
I'm okay.
All right.
I have an office mate, which is a very long-legged spider that hangs out on the ceiling and was moving around.
Oh. You don't say.
I've been hanging out with him for a few days now. He seems all right, but he needs to stay there.
Okay.
And not in my space.
So Brown and Green's war came to an end, it looks like.
We greet you.
Yeah. Interesting. Doesn't seem like anything was accomplished necessarily. Brown has been pretty successful at preventing Black from landing armies, but the Black is definitely displaying a fair amount of naval control at this moment. I think I'm still planning to move on Chang'an, like,
Okay.
right? I don't see any reason to let them have that. They've been saber rattling and being a distraction for plenty long enough. Okay, so first things first, 20% reduction in the cost of makers' quarters. That's neat. We got a new colony blueprint, so new cities from this point will start with even more stuff. And we got access to train stations and the coal that power them. The coal that powers them. So when we build a train station district, it'll produce 5 industry per adjacent maker's quarter. It will reduce the cost of trade route maintenance, and it will generate 5 pollution in the city. And then it generates rails toward other cities nearby that have train stations. Rails allow you to travel instantly from one train station to another at the cost of only a single movement point. So that's a pretty big deal, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then we're going to focus now on Propeller, the first generation of coal-powered ships, which will give us some real naval advantage. Also, whale fishing, which is a technology of the industrial era. That is, I mean, it's going to produce a lot of food. Feels maybe a little disrespectful to the whale. I feel bad about hunting whales. It feels like the line to me. All right, so let's get our various sources of coal strapped up here. We'll probably prioritize that over the guy. We have a fair number of them. We still need to figure out how to harvest oil as well, because we do have some oil. All right, so Sandivat has this coal. Remember, because of our religion, strategic resources are also sources of significant science. So this is all science income as well. Interesting. You can build train stations in unattached territory with influence in the same way that you can build harbors. I don't know why that surprises me, but it does surprise me a little bit. So one thing I'm noticing actually is that Chang'an does not own this tile. There's a city up here that is the owner of this stuff. That's interesting. If we get a hold of Chang'an, I'll probably just absorb it into Cuzco then. It doesn't seem like the city itself is providing very much value. All right, our other army has almost reached the shore. We're almost in friendly territory here.
The train thing makes sense to me though, because especially in some countries that had less developed economies, I'm not necessarily talking about colonial stuff, but just like
A
other.
wondrous work indeed. No doubt the neighbors are eyeing you with a great deal of jealousy.
Hooray.
Right. Other countries would often get foreign investors or foreign companies, foreign nations to build railroads for them. I believe they happened with Russia, for example, because Russia's economy was quite behind, quote unquote, behind for a certain definition of behind, which is problematic in and of itself.
Yeah.
And yeah, no, that makes sense to me.
All right, the places where we don't have anything important going on, I am going to build. Oh, so we don't even have a normal harbor here yet. We should absolutely build a normal harbor here because this is every normal harbor since we built that wonder now has a 20 extra industry attached to it. None of these are like particularly compelling positions on their own. This is fine, I suppose. It's next to the other thing that acts as a harbor, so it's not going to help us with ship placement, but it is an extra 20 industry. So we're trying to build these like little clusters of science buildings. +4 +5. I think I would prefer to build this up on the hill. I don't know. Yeah, it's fine. Put that there. Oh, we have another source of another source of coal that I'm missing. So we're gonna have our third builder star here pretty soon. Yeah, let's definitely do those. So I built myself into the corner here in a way that's not super productive as far as like actually getting more science goes, but a science district there is still profitable in many ways. Now see, part of the problem is that the game tries to optimize for highest total value of resource points gained.
Mm-hmm.
And in doing so, it does consider each point to be... it considers different resources to have identical value. So, like, I don't know if you noticed, with the first science district I put down this turn, I had a choice of a +6 science location or a +4 science +3 faith location. And the game only highlights the one that it thinks is best, so it highlighted the faith location, and I had to go and hunt the other one myself. Despite the fact that at this point in the game, more faith on the mainland is borderline useless because we are in charge here. And our religion is large enough that we've completed all of our tenets. So just gaining religious population it's not no value, but it's sort of limited value. All right, Byblos gained population and immediately started starving because it's also dancing over that line. Okay, but it's building that harbor, and I think what we have in the queues now is enough to get us to the third star.
Okay.
We're also working hurriedly towards this first aesthetic star. This other stuff, on the other hand, is really, it's going to take a minute. 25k more gold would be like another 13 turns, probably. Okay, you guys just need to get on land. How is war support going over here?
Though I'd as soon see you bleed as
We have the ability to declare on them cleanly. They do not have the same ability to declare on us.
Do you? Because the number wasn't highlighted. The button was faded out.
Well,
Declare war button.
yeah, but like, look at how I'm saying. Like, we could declare war and we
gotcha.
could still fight. So I didn't mean we could declare a formal war.
Gotcha. Wait, was that was on black?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, just trying to get a little bit of vision out here. I believe they are still behind us technologically. We do need to probably build up our military a little bit more, but yeah, I definitely want to make this stuff happen over here. We may as well. Or Amabel has convinced me that we may as well.
Yeah, I mean, you should do something.
Amabel, like the vizier whispering in my ear, trying to get me hurt.
No, I'm not trying to get you hurt.
It's like, ah, my liege, of course.
Look,
All right.
One of two things happens. Oh,
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No. Do your bit. Let's get on the other side of it.
Either the war is very successful and we've had an entertaining thing for the viewers, or you get your ass handed to you and we get to move on to another series sooner.
And that's
Either
all
way-
downside. That's all downside.
Either way, I win.
Years have passed since some of the Empire's finest minds have sought to unravel the secrets of the Quipu. Astronomers and historians, mathematicians and archaeologists, many have formulated hypotheses, but despite their best efforts, the code remains resolutely unbroken, the meaning of the Quipu uncertain. Its very public existence mocks your empire's capabilities. Okay. Whoever wrote this is very insecure with their intelligence.
Yeah.
What do you wish to do with it now? Well, we can hang it in our most prestigious Hall of Learning as an inspiration. Some bonus science for a while. We can honor it. It should be magnificently displayed where all can see its beauty. There's a small cost associated with this. And Mike and A will be celebrating for 10 turns. And there's more narrative potentially coming on after this. I like teach. I think like science is the thing we need most at this juncture. Okay, with the commons now a bedrock of your empire's cities, you must decide what is your most important obligation to your citizens. We have continued to build commons quarters. I think, public happiness. A joyful life begets a prosperous one.
A bit of flexibility and freedom is more than worth a bit of risk, right?
Garnet Star should be demilitarized. Yeah, no problem. Green's feeling aggressive toward me, eh? Well, let's see if they still feel that way in a moment here. So we get a little bit more food from building the harbor up here, but obviously like a harbor in this area is a very low value strategically as like a place to launch ships. That said, after this is ours, we're not really going to need much of a reason to be able to launch ships over here. So I guess building this for resources does make the most sense. All right, some important harbors getting constructed. Now, we definitely want to be continuing to push science. Let's get our first alchemist workshop up. Plus 10% science is better. It's a better amount of science than all of the other competing buildings right now, right this second, and it's only going to get better as we continue to build. So probably that's going to be the most valuable thing to build in a lot of places. Yeah. And like I said, I think we have our districts figured out enough that building non-district improvements makes sense now. Although after these cities finish building their harbors, they're probably going to go into military production mode for a while. So let's talk about this demilitarization. How do I want to approach the attack on Chang'an? This is kind of funny, like their city center is over here.
Yeah.
And then they built a different tile over here somewhere and then expanded all of their stuff off of that tile. And so the city center is kind of just off by itself.
As one, we move.
Yeah, as one we move. Let's go ahead and move as one.
Yes, sir.
We'll move this army right up to the border of the demilitarized zone and then cross next turn. And we can probably declare war either next turn or the turn after, I think.
Okay.
Probably makes sense. We still need 5 more districts. Are we 3 harbors, 1 science, and... Oh, I might actually have to build 1 more district somewhere. Whatever, it's fine. We'll get it.
We'll get it.
Honestly, the 1 more district somewhere may very well be a wonder. Maybe us claiming a wonder. All right, y'all are good for this turn. Y'all are also good for this turn. So yeah, we need at least 1 more turn for people to get into position. We don't actually even have a harbor off of the southern island here, which we definitely should. So never mind. We got districts. I don't have full, man. We just have a lot of regions, a lot of coastal regions, I think every one of our regions is coastal. And so keeping up on our total harbor count has been something. Do we want to grab another wonder before somebody else steps up into the era and grabs it away from us? Probably it's either Big Ben or the Statue of Liberty. It's probably Big Ben.
Okay.
10 industry per... Yeah, it's probably Big Ben. I think that gives us the largest amount of science of all of the remaining science-y kind of wonders that we have left there. All right, there's an aesthete star, meaning we can move forward if we want to.
Yeah, but we don't have our elephant.
Yeah, I
Gunners
don't think it would be right to move forward yet. I think we can earn a lot more here yet.
How are the scores looking, by the way?
Yes, we haven't made a ton of points in the last few rounds, which has given Black a little bit of time to close. But we're about to cash in some decent stars. And I think we're going to do this. Right, this turn we have enough movement to strike.
Sovereign.
Oh, all of a sudden we're aggressive instead of hate-filled.
Yeah, that happened a couple turns ago.
Yeah, but when I read it, I was like, I processed it as more angry, not less angry. So I was like, aggressive. That's the... What are they thinking? But yeah, that's right. Contextually, that was a move down. Yeah, I think we're just going to declare.
We will settle this on the...
My opinion is that you should not tell someone you're going to settle this on the battlefield. You should just do it.
I've considered.
All right. I'm not going to try to bully Brown into joining us. They really don't have to. It's fine. And let's... So wait, I can just walk into those tiles? That's weird. In any case, let's get them. Yeah, you better run. Okay. So I don't think there's a huge amount of value in waiting here, right? Like, what is their total force? They have a bunch of regiments of prowlers, and they have 35 combat strength draftees against, better, against more numbers than that. They also have a very limited setup area because of they're built like into this corner.
Yeah.
So let's just make it happen. And it looks like an instant resolution. I'm assuming is going to be give me all your shit for free. They're going to choose not to put their spies into the battle, probably. It's fine by me. You achieved the following. Oh, right, because now I own the whole landmass. I had not been thinking about that, but that is the kind of thing you get fame for. Having killed 7 more units puts us fairly close to that next militarist star. If we were able to catch this army out in a position where they had to fight us. Ooh, they have 45 strength anti-cavalry units. They should have tried to make something of it. I think that would have been a big deal for them. If I attack here, the attack will include my other army. Yeah, we want to chase them down because they retreated, right? So
yeah,
we can force them into an inferior fight and get ourselves a militarist star out of it. And I think I'm going to have this guy just kind of park.
Unfortunately, this
here?
time you are merely a bystander to someone else's glory.
So he says that when somebody else gets one of the competitive deeds, but it doesn't always tell you what he's talking about in the moment, which is kind of silly. All right, let's get some more units pumped out here. We're 3 turns away from having access to better boats. So what is this army that's sitting on this thing? It could use a couple of just like basic land units. That's a lot of population, but they're good units and they build fast. Cusco should be okay. We probably actually don't need to build any military stuff here. My feeling is researchers make stability. Honestly, we could just like use more food and farmer slots. We could really use more slots. You can see here, this indication 29 out of 27 is telling us that we have 29 population, but there's only 27 slots for people to work in here. So we have citizens who are not able to provide, benefit. Gaining 3 researcher slots is probably actually the way to handle that. Yep. Remind me later. We'll totally get to that. But yeah, for right now, let's just continue to push. So where's your war support after losing that? You're going to drop a bunch, but still be above 50. I definitely intend to push across and grab the ocean over here. They do have some ships. So we have to be wary of that. We don't actually have any ships in this area. Although, we could. I'd really prefer to wait, you know, until I can produce a ship that will be, like, absolutely terrifying to them. What are they looking at right now? 52 combat strength. So we can make 61 combat strength. Where'd they go? Here we go. 61 combat strength man o' wars. What would it be to buy a man o' war? So we have enough gold that we could just purchase 2 man o' wars at a cost of roughly half of the city's population. But that would give us control of the ocean real fucking fast. And then we would have those ships available for, you know, upgrading into whatever comes off of this and threatening black. And I actually kind of like that idea.
Okay.
I know I'm kind of fucking up our, like, what do you call it? I'm kind of fucking up our infrastructure a little bit.
Is a wonderful thing. Sadly for the crew, we're likely to see the first seasickness as well.
It is, in fact, the first ship. All right. So I built one on each side of the landmass. I'm not sure if that was the right move, but I want to, like, start cleaning up, like, taking control of this area as quickly as possible. Yeah, because I'm pretty sure that the -8 combat strength is not reflected in this 52. So I think 1 man o' war should be able to handle that group.
Okay.
I guess we'll find out. All right, like I said, we got to take these guys down. It does look like they are afraid. See, it gives them the higher combat strength overall, but, like, the individual trades, I think, are going to be in our favor. We'll attack you and make you run off into the ocean. And, of course, remember, every time we attack and make them run off, we are lowering their combat, lowering their empire's war support. Instant resolution gives us no losses. I think I'm inclined to take that. Like they actually have like reasonably powerful units here. I'll take a 0 loss outcome. So that's got us a militarist star. And we are headed for the coast next up. That one unit's damaged pretty badly. But we'll be okay, I think. We'll get there. Do I want to? They're reluctant to attack, which suggests that my read is right. Right, but I'm a little leery of losing such an expensive resource if I'm wrong. A little concerned about the consequences of that.
Do it. I've been right so far.
Oh, okay. Well, I suppose that's true. I suppose that's true. The thing is, I could just buy another one. What if that's what we do? Okay, and then we're a couple districts away on that, but we're currently building those districts. We could use a little bit more stability here. Oh, but we have all of our normal stability buildings built already. Well, I can't start building Big Ben here because there's nowhere. It's a shame that this tooltip is placed in such a way that you can't read the red text. But the problem is going to be that there's nowhere to build it because you have to build it next to a river. In this district, this city does not have a river in its territory, so we'd have to connect it somewhere else, and then we could start working on it via the shared thing. So let me actually, like, if we wanted to start building it, let's say, so it wants to be adjacent to the administrative center or the main plaza. We gotta make sure that we're not like costing ourselves a huge amount of resources by putting it down there. It's my only concern. That's the Kaiserdom. That's the Satrap's Palace. Okay. Yeah, honestly, I don't hate this position. We're losing 10 industry food, but we're gaining 11 science. I guess I probably that building is that spot is built up in such a way that it probably would be better to just put a what do you call it there, like a customs the happiness one. Amabel, what's wrong with my brain? Commons quarter. Jesus.
Anything's wrong with your brain.
Do you remember when I used to be able to think sometimes?
Yeah, but then I entered your life.
What a nightmare for everyone. I'm glad that's over.
And your jaw just dropped to the ground. It's like, look at this gorgeous honey.
Truer words never spoken. Hey, where are you going? Yeah, you better run. I think we were able to bully them with just the one ship, but it is better to be safe. There's no reason not to pick up the second ship. So let's go and see if we can knock on the door of this spot over here that I did not even really realize was a thing.
And you are here because?
They refused another civics change. I don't actually care about that. So they're losing 5 war support per turn from the occupation, plus whatever additional from losses and retreats and whatnot. If we take over another city, obviously it's going to be worse, and that is the place that we got to get them to is worse.
So it seems like your vizier was correct.
Listen, I didn't say you were bad at scheming. I just said there's a lot of scheming occurring. All right, let's build this. Let's build this wonder. We need one more district completion, which we will get soon. I mean, certainly when Big Ben finishes. Okay, yeah, this coming turn, the harbor will finish it. Once we have that, I do think we need to ask ourselves, like, how much more we want to stay in the era for.
I want the elephants.
I mean, we'll get to the elephants.
Will we?
Yeah.
So if we haven't unlocked our emblematic unit yet, and then we switch things, we still would have access to it, even if we haven't unlocked it.
Yeah,
Okay.
it just goes in the tree. Okay, so They have 36 strength caravels as their transport units. Probably not a great idea to attack them with this ship when we just finished propeller. So I'm going to retreat and prepare for the upgrades to ironclad. Unit can attack units without a clear line of sight, can attack fortifications, removes dug-in status on target, receives bonus combat strength when adjacent to exactly 2 other friendly units. And that's how that's ship of the line. That's how they represent that sort of naval wall of broadsides tactic, which is, I think, is interesting.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, again, I think the way to do naval combat is basically how they did it in Endless Space.
Why do you come here to
Yeah.
waste my time?
And I feel like having 2 combat systems would probably be
I'll forgive
I think that'd be
for
stronger, actually.
reparation.
I'm really curious to see how you're going to feel about the naval combat systems in some of the games that we are going to get to. So we could just push forward here and try to grab access to oil. In 10 turns, have access to torpedo boats. Agile Striker is able to overwhelm capital ships. Receives very high combat bonus when attacking capital ships, but cannot attack when adjacent to enemy screening ships.
Also, they're
Interesting.
vulnerable to Mr. Limpet.
Was that funny? I'll just trust you.
It's for all the incredible Mr. Limpet fans out there watching this series. 12, 13 episodes deep.
I will just trust you that those exist, that those are people. So wait, if I drop, let's say we don't do this. Let's say I go to scientific method and then microbiology. Oh yeah, no, that doesn't actually connect. It goes around trench warfare and heads to the research institute. Trench warfare comes from guerrilla warfare or line formation, which we could reach like this.
Is that faster?
No. But it gets us more science-y stuff on the way.
Yeah.
Coal generators, so every coal deposit is giving massive resource outputs.
Is that the order you're doing it in? Scientific method, microbiology, electricity?
I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to clear the queue here. I'm going to go to electricity first, and then we'll figure things out from there.
Okay.
See, they want to skip scientific method. When I just click here, it goes encyclopedia into nationhood into electricity. So encyclopedia, it reduces the influence cost of civics. Drawn up and signed in ink, the labor charter confirms that no worker will ever be forced to sacrifice their life for the Empire's constructions. So right now, I don't know if you've noticed, we haven't ever pressed it. But right now, on all of our constructions, we have all of our buildings and stuff, we have a button that is just like, sacrifice X workers to complete this instantly. It's right next to the gold button. Once you develop this technology, you lose that capability. What do you think about that as like a thing in the technology tree? It's like a moral technology, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, that's... You know, I mean, here's the thing. We talk about the games a lot as mechanical structures.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a degree to which people mostly engage with them as mechanical structures or pretend to while also engaging with their little paint the map fantasy, right?
Yeah.
But there also is a lot of space for, in a simulationist vein, for moral questions and ethics and things being in the game just to give you that flavor and those choices.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that I do appreciate about some of these games when it's done thoughtfully, which is not always the case. But broadly, I'm in favor of having a mechanism which exists for a non-mechanical impetus.
Amabel, check it out. We have an ironclad. With which we can threaten their 36 strength combat ships. Or, what do you call it? Transport ships. Alright, so one thing that I would really love is if we could see the city. That's a array. That's an administrative center. So that suggests actually that the city center is over here. We could ransack their harbor and get actually a pretty small amount of money. And then it's, I believe that removes the harbor, or it... Yeah, destroy the target. That's going to be my harbor in a second here. I'm going to choose not to burn it to the ground. I think actually we want that harbor to exist. Perhaps I'm being a little overly optimistic.
And make it fast.
Okay. They have fled. There's lots of... Oh, we're mutinous in Mycenae. Oh, no. Well, that's why we're building the thing here. Is so that we could get the stability level up. How long would it take for me to put up one of these? Oh, actually, no. I'm building this across the thing in Byblos. That's right. Well, then we really do need to get a commons quarter up so that we can get a little bit of happiness back. So let's prioritize that. We'll finish Big Ben later. In fact, just buy that out. There we go. Now we're trending toward a relatively stable value. It's not totally great.
This war will come with a heavy price.
Green's like, hey, what about we call it a draw?
No.
Color
No.
You must be out of your mind. No.
No, that's cool. No. So actually, I'm gonna send you this way. And where'd that force that ran away from us go? Well, I don't know, but I'm gonna try to get in the water and attack those guys pretty quick at the beginning of this next turn. So let's call this the intent. You guys could be upgraded into ironclads if we had the money, but we certainly do not. That's a very expensive kind of boat. So yeah, actually, let's talk about this for a second here. Where are we at as far as sticking around in this era? We are in the second to last era. So there's a sense in which we have to be careful because we're running short of opportunities to earn a lot more fame, I guess, is maybe one way to think about it.
Yeah.
This third militarist star is certainly on the menu. That's the thing we could get, no question. We're getting pretty close to a merchant star as well. Only 7k off, and we bring in 1,500 a turn.
Is the science star too far off? That's too many turns.
The science star is maybe gettable because there's a bunch of backfill we could do.
Okay.
But my preference would be to save the backfill for an era where we're going to be able to push to the third star.
Okay.
Since the later stars are more valuable. Then again, with the next era being the last era, I guess we'll have all the time in the world to research stuff. So maybe pushing through the backfill now actually does make sense. Let's go have a look at that. So let me uncheck encyclopedia. We would need 4 more text to get that first star. So if we go all the way back, okay, 1, 2, 3, just like the cheapest stuff, regardless of whether it's valuable or not, just to get the fill-ins. Let's see how long that takes. And then we want to be right here because I would love to grab these guys before they can escape. Okay. So my other ships are also included. This is a whole situation here. If we go for the instant resolution, it does show me losing a huge amount of my own ships. I guess they have way more boats in the area than I realized. Oh, look, if you draw the battle lines so that they extend all the way back to this other continent, then technically there are other ships available. This is some bullshit. What are they doing? All right, so the thing is, they're killing in the auto resolve. They're killing my armies, but they're doing so based on the assumption that I will use my armies to fight instead of scurrying them up onto land, which is what I will actually do. So I think we can just break retreat here. Like I didn't realize it was going to do this bullshit and include 14 ships that aren't in the battle.
Okay.
But they're just cogs.
Do you want to manual it?
Yeah, I'm debating whether I think the manual is a bad idea or not.
Even if it's a bad idea, it'd be an entertaining one.
It'd also probably be like a lengthy one. Where are we at on money? So we're not close to me being able to like buy new ships into the conflict. Yeah, and it locks. Boy, the amount of distance they're reaching back here to make this unfair for us. It really feels like probably not. It feels like not a fair application of the rules, right? It feels like the system is reaching for a way to punish me, which I do not care for. The instant resolution does give us the kill on all of their stuff. I'm gonna let's do it manually. Let's see what we can do. We're gonna put this ironclad through its paces.
Okay.
All right, and I attacked first, so these guys are just in their little reinforcement slots. The ironclad, we definitely want the ironclad over here. The ironclad's going to beat up on these guys. We're not fighting their ships until we absolutely have to. Oops. No, sorry, open. Okay, so we definitely want to bring forward. Wait. Yeah, there we go. Okay, I'm trying to grab this ship that actually exists here. So it's doing kind of it looks like it's because it's a naval battle, it's not going to let the land ships up onto land, or so. I'm not 100% clear what's happening here, but we are going to open fire at the very least on these transport ships with our vastly superior ships. So, yeah, if we're picking units to kill, obviously the arquebus goes first. Into the ocean with you. Yeah, it's just I'm not allowed to move them. It's very strange that they would be considered a unit to that extent. Considered a naval unit to that extent, since they're not. Alright, so we're going to shoot at something that's not adjacent to us, because we don't take fire back on the non-adjacent units. And I guess... yeah, these things. Anti-cavalry units. Go away. The rules for these like mixed naval and land unit engagements are very strange, it turns out. Maybe don't make a huge amount of sense. Also, it's a little frustrating that I can't get both of the man of wars into firing range on the first turn. All right, you guys can effectively withdraw, and you shall. Boy, their movement range is real short, though. So what I can do here is, like, the thing is, if I start moving ships out into the open, wow. My transport ships are not nearly as good as their transport ships. So they actually are going to get to kill, like, a huge amount of my troops due to the fact that you're not allowed to land ships during a naval battle, I guess. Questionable here.
Yeah.
So what's the best way to preserve bodies then? This is a system knowledge problem where, like, I'm losing ships due to the game having more system knowledge than I have. Because I did not train up on combat. If I just leave this guy here, is it gonna auto? It's gonna auto, like, pop up the next unit in the stack, I think. Don't auto deploy these. I wonder if that'll make a difference, because I don't want to deploy them. Let's see what happens. I need to get some kind of understanding of the rules here. So they're going to be sailing ships out of these stacks after us, and that will be something to deal with when it's time to deal with it. Unfortunately, it is going to make their turn take, like, a really long time. Yeah, you can see the stack is slowly unloading. Even though we can't see their ships, they still have to, like, play the animations under the cover.
Oh, okay.
This was your idea.
Look, you warned me it'd be kind of lengthy, but as you know, I don't mind it when things are lengthy. I'm a trans woman. I'm used to things taking
Amabel?
longer,
Okay.
especially when things get wet.
Amabel?
Yeah.
Okay.
What?
I think they're going to start finally playing with the units that are over here.
I'm behaving. This is what behaving
is that
looks
what
like
is that
for
what
me.
this is called? Oops. Sorry. All right. An interesting thing that they're doing is they actually are trying to bring down the ironclad. They are having these little ships sail up to it one by one and sacrifice themselves to deal tiny amounts of damage. I cannot imagine why the AI would do this. Maybe we're not going to lose a bunch of our ground units. They killed one of the Sapa Inca guards, and then it didn't auto respawn because we told them not to auto deploy. And then I guess that means that from their perspective, all that is, like, the ironclad is now double veterancy starred because of the decision making here.
I mean, I guess, you know, they don't have the same intelligence or nuance as a human player, right? And so if their priority is what is the dangerous thing to take out, then they'd prioritize the ironclad over what can we actually accomplish.
Yeah.
But that is ruinous.
Yeah, I mean, they did a fair amount of damage to it in total. We can move it up into ship of the line position here, and then just not have units pop off the top of these stacks. And let's see how the enemies continue to move in. Oh, interesting. So this ship is also receiving its ship of the line bonus, despite the fact that there's no unit on this space. I think a reinforcement tile must still count as a friendly unit. Or no, I guess maybe that only updates at the end of the turn. Maybe that's what's happening. Oh wait, so you're allowed to indirect fire. So actually, if we do this, all 3 of these ships can have 2 adjacent Z's and also be able to shoot. And it seems like it's just taken their ships a while to cross the distance.
I mean, how much of that is deep ocean too? You know,
Yeah,
that's probably what's slowing them down, which is
maybe.
which is insane because if you're gonna have a thing about naval battle, about naval
This war
warfare,
will come with a heavy price.
Nah, I'm good.
Teasing me, huh? The answer's no.
So she's going to lose all of her war support this next turn. But we are dedicated to not taking a peace deal until we can claim this
yeah.
city, because we want the city. So,
But a big thing about naval battles, especially in the Age of Sail era, which just kind of is moving towards more of the industrial stuff, it's kind of iffy. But you know, a lot of it is just finding
How
the person
far
out on
can
the
you trust a
ocean,
leader
having
whose
people
primary
leave from a
concern is
continent
their
to
family,
reinforce
not their
at
people?
another continent is insane.
yeah. Yeah, like I don't know. So like we have this concept of multi-turn battles, right? I'm going to, by the way, not end the episode until this battle's actually over.
Right.
Yep, it sure can. We have this concept of multi-turn battles, and I don't really know how to calculate like what the time scale is of that.
Yeah.
A battle that takes place over 3 game turns is did you I should have looked at what year it was. But it's the game clock says 1581 now.
Yeah.
I wonder if they're actually coming. You know?
Yeah. Because in order for you to win the battle, you have to eliminate all their people. They just never show up.
I mean, yeah, like, well, in order for me to win the battle as opposed to the battle being considered having no clear winner, I don't lose the battle if I don't eliminate all their stuff. I'm going to move down to a position where we have slightly more line of sight.
And I understand things being kind of fungible with the time scale. Like, I get that. But as far as just, like, what kind of battle is being simulated here? You know, is this more a campaign than a battle? If so, this level of tactical detail probably isn't appropriate, but...
I really thought they were going to approach.
I mean, that goes for all the... Okay, that's 6 years?
Yeah, that was 6 years between those 2 turns. Mutinous in Sidon. Okay, hold on. The Combine! Oh no! The inhabitants of Sidon are tired of the perennial chaos that comes with the lack of an official city administrator. Daily life is difficult, and without clear leadership, the city's economy is not growing as well as it could. As a result, the citizens have taken matters into their own hands and have formed a number of organizational committees, in many matters from agriculture to finance. Do you wish to step in? We can appoint an administrator and gain +1 city cap. An administrator will be appointed. The citizens must understand who is in charge, or we can wait. Let's see how they get by without an administrator. This could be a great example of self-governance and gain 50 fame. This is weird. I mean, I would rather have fame than city cap, I think. Right?
Okay.
I'd rather have fame, generally. Fame is good. Foreign forces revealed in Knossos. Yeah, well, they're just gonna do their thing. So we're gonna have ourselves a Big Ben in just a second here. We're gonna have ourselves a Merchant Star in just a second here. And Sidon is really crashing. They're cratering pretty bad. But
There's a degree
there are
to which
districts
the
here.
5 commons
incoherence
quarters. This
of
should
the
be a city
genre,
as stable as bedrock.
the kind of fissures, it's this mix of the abstraction and then like the granular detail.
Mhm.
I think if you just choose one or the other, rather than this weird mix of both,
Yeah.
there'd be a lot less things that are like, what is going on here?
Okay. So I don't know. I kind of want to like advance carefully.
Yeah. Oh, there we go.
Okay, we found somebody. So that's that's just a traveling vessel. These are cogs. Well, that's what I think of you. Okay, yeah, these ships do need direct line of sight for fire.
Makes sense.
Yeah, I don't know what they've been doing. They must have approached pretty hard on that first turn, and then after losing so many units, decided it wasn't worth it anymore, and just like stayed stationary from there. I didn't realize how much we could just be devouring them, but they didn't. I kind of thought they were gonna, especially given the mindless blitz of their transport vessels. Yeah. It's very weird, like how when and where they decide to apply restraint.
Well, here's another question. Like, you don't have line of sight to them. Do the AI have line of sight to you?
After they lost their units, yeah, maybe they couldn't. I mean, they should have known where we were, but like strictly speaking, the answer to your question is no. Right after they cleared out my units.
I mean, it's probably a lot easier to program this kind of AI without giving it a memory.
Yeah.
Looking at each turn tactically.
Just shoot down a random cog and have everybody show up and shoot down some more cogs. Maybe we overdid it here. This is a lot of opposing guns. But, I'm killing people. It's fun.
That's going on a t-shirt.
Let's see them all fire at us. I presume she's moving her transport vessels right now, trying to get them as far from the fighting as possible. Okay, it looks like fleeing. Fleeing is the order of the day.
Given how many board games and tabletop war games there are about naval stuff, I assume there are naval, like, Age of Sail video games.
Yeah, not really. Like, in my experience, there's not a lot of naval only video games, but certainly there are a lot of video games about that, like strategy video games about that, like, time period.
Okay, that's interesting.
Or not, if not about that time period, then some of the games that contain that time period at least, right?
Yeah, because people love it when oceans are now battlefields.
Classically. Oops, I didn't mean to actually move adjacent. What a terrible play. Are any of these they're all just cogs, right? Yeah. All right. Our death ball of ships has done its work. Will they fight back now that they're cornered? Because if all 6 of them attacks, they probably could do some real damage. I assume.
Why is it showing that 2 of your units are eliminated?
Because 2 of my units were eliminated.
Oh, or that was like in the first. Okay,
on the first turn, yeah.
Right.
Okay. I mean, they still call it a victory. Nobody's unclear on what happened there.
That is now red. There's now a red halo around the green symbol.
Yeah, because they're at 0 war support. They're trying to tap out, and I'm not going to let them. They are first going to surrender this city to me. Is this... Wait, so, okay, here's the administrative center. Where is the capital of this? Oh, this is Corral. This is their capital. These are all connected to Corral. Corral is just fucking huge.
Are you able to demand the territory apart from the city, or do you want to go for the city?
If we ran over there and we took the city, I would be allowed to demand to keep the territories but cede them back the city if I didn't want to manage it. I mean, at that point we're basically removing them from the game.
Right.
And I'm not necessarily opposed to that. But it is more time investment. Something to think about, certainly. Fighting far beyond the homeland, your soldiers drew on their deepest reserves of strength to vanquish their opponents. Exhausted afterward, they rested in a sheltered valley where one of their number made a startling discovery. Nestled in the hillside, long buried, your soldiers came across an ancient holy site, within which stood a towering stela inscribed with hundreds of lines of a strange script. Friezes on the surrounding walls depict blasphemous scenes, yet suggest the stela holds valuable knowledge. What is your will? Well, we can commandeer this, of course. It'll be brought to the capital, and the people will rejoice. We get a little bit of temporary stability. Always feels like a terrible value, right? Although it has chances of triggering another event, which could be interesting. Our ironclad could get bonus health regeneration. Holy Site provides the perfect shelter for a recovering army. Or we could destroy it. For our faith, we will demolish this relic and its blasphemous artwork. Plus 50% faith everywhere for 10 turns would probably push our religion onto their continent pretty easily. But I just don't know that I care. I kind of want to commandeer because I'm curious about the potential future narrative events. All right, let's hit end turn.
Big Ben will give you a visible and official correct time. Rather important now that all the clocks of an entire empire need to agree on it.
What is this? This is just a guy. It's just some guy. What are you doing? Go away. What are you doing? So one thing we could do is I could run up on this administrative center, and I don't know if ransacking I would not expect that ransacking an administrative center would detach the territory. If you do it to an outpost, it definitely does. No, I think we would have to come all the way over here and take Corral by force.
To what do we owe the
Just
pleasure?
checking. You're at peace with everybody else. Yeah, I might do that. I think we're gonna stop here. We're gonna make this decision next time.
Okay.
But we finished building a wonder. We got ourselves up to 15.4k fame, so we're in front of Black by 2k again. We're about to pull another star. Did we get the third militarist star there? We did. So past this next merchant star, it looks like there's not another star for quite some time.
Yeah.
But that said, we are still not close to being ready to move forward technologically.
So you think we want to get there before we?
I don't know. I think there's a reasonable chance. If we move forward, we're going to stack on another empire bonus, right? We're going to get. So if we move forward right away, we're going to get another one of these, right? From whatever we take, we're going to get access to a new district that we can build immediately. We won't be able to benefit from the new military unit because it will be somewhere down the tech tree, right? But we'll be working on new stars. So yeah, like we'll definitely get an upgrade in strength, but I don't know that we need it immediately, and it might be worth it to just like hang out here and accumulate some more stars before moving forward and getting stars that we're going to get either way in the last area, you know? Anyway, we're calling the episode. That's going to be it for us for today. Thank you all so much for watching. Amabel, is your bloodthirst sated? At least a little bit? How's your blood? How's your bloodthirst doing?
I mean, let me come up there and bite you, and we'll see what happens.
It is so difficult to wring focus out of you. All right. When you come back next time, hopefully we will conclude this ridiculous war with Mama Aklo, obviously with us owning all of her valuable stuff. And then we will push on into the future and toward our victory. And we'll see you then.